checkered flag images, one of our club photographers, along with Nathan and Rachel from Bourne and Mark from Talk Media. All the photos will be available during the week, and those guys have already got some fantastic snaps from the weekend. So the lights go to red. We wait for them to go out, which they do so promptly, and oh, that's a very good start by both the second row actually, but most notably I think was that David Bull hooking up very nicely indeed.
Yeah, Paul Whitby didn't get a good start there. I think he's dropped back a couple of bikes at least from the front row. I know David Bull yesterday, he finished 5th in that second race, and I spoke to him in the paddock earlier, and he's saying he was just staying clear of the carnage that was ahead of him. Yeah, fortunately for everybody, they did all stay up and cross the line ahead of him. So yeah, he's I think definitely playing the long game, thinking about that championship. And taking the points, especially obviously seeing that Alan Cooper had gone out of the race yesterday.
Well,
so
you're a man who knows about how hard it is to win a championship at the end of the day, and just how close it can come. And yeah, no, it's a season-long thing, and every single race counts. We're talking about that in the Rookie Thousands, where we saw the leader crash out literally within sight of the line and just give away 25 points to his main rival. And you know, we've seen championships won by single points in the past, and yeah, you need every single point. Every race matters at the end of the day. And you do see people who know that. They beat themselves up when it goes wrong, and you understand that. Anyway, the man who does know about winning championships is leading this race. He's not doing the championship this year, but he's just going to make the odd appearance just to remind everybody how quick he is. And that's our new lap record holder here, Kev Woolley. He is streaking away already with this one, isn't he? He really is a class act. He's been doing this for quite a while, on and off. Hasn't been able to put in a million seasons. He started back in the 90s and as a super team against some rather notable people as well, as he makes his way to Goddard's. Now second, that is Whitby. He might not have made the start, mate, but I tell you what, he's had a good scream round the first lap, hasn't he?
He really has. He's done an excellent first lap. If he can keep Kevin in sights, he'll be very, very pleased with that, that's for sure.
That's the trick, isn't it? If he's got to go with Kevin and try and hope that David doesn't come along, because David Bull has made a good start there, makes up a couple of places, and comes across the line in third. Mark Haig comes across in fourth where he started. McRae, unfortunately, Max has gone backwards by 3 places, but he'll be looking to make those up. David May's made a good start too. He collects 3 places, as does Jeff Mook behind him. So got to be some losers there. Bushell and Cooper, and somebody coming into the pit lane, the number 69 machine of Mark Elleray, unfortunately. So it's one retirement we've got so far. Haig leading the club, and he's a very quick rider above that little teaser, and of course he used to come out to play on an RS250 Aprilia as well back in the Blue Haze days. So up to McLean's they go, and I tell you what could be good news for Whitby to hang on to that silver medal is that Ball and Haig are quite close. So if they start mixing it up, that might work out nicely, as Woolley predictably sets the purple sector time up at sector 1. Now yesterday we lowered the lap record down to a 45.882. So that's the hot pace now. We'll wait and see how close to that we can get. Yeah,
Kev's thrown a new set of tyres at his bike this morning, so I think he was hoping that they may get him another couple of tenths here and there. But the wind out there is quite strong today, and I think certainly the feel from him was that it was probably going to be a bit too difficult to pass the 45 rate that he did
We have
yesterday.
Matt Weatherall saying how much the Standard Bike Sport machine was getting thrown around by the wind down through the Craners on Friday, and these little bikes really do feel the wind in a big way. You notice that lack of weight and something like that. Well, I'll tell you who's going well. It's Whitby's being caught very rapidly indeed by Bull behind him. It was 0.8 of a second. It's now 0.4 of a second, so he's literally halved the gap, and he was trying to have a sniff down the inside. However, I don't think David got the drive coming out of Goddard's there, because he's lost out badly in a straight line. All of a sudden, what was 0.4 of a second is now probably 1.4 of a second, as Woolley comes across the line, first flying lap with a 46.3. There's more speed in the track there somewhere, because Alan Cooper, back in 6th place, has made up of 4 places on that lap, and he's gone purple in sector 2. He does a 47.899, so he's comfortably quicker than almost everybody in front of him, apart from the leader, Woolley. So I'm not sure why Mr. Cooper was so far back in the first place at the end of the day, because he would have been relegated because of that incident, as you mentioned before, with the gearbox, wouldn't he? So he would have been started somewhere at the back. So it's interesting to watch him punch his way through as Woolley goes a little bit slower in sector 1 there. There's a change between Ball and Haig, I think. I think the lights went out in a slightly different order. We'll have to wait until they get to the line to definitely confirm that, as we see some more PBs coming in from Mr. Cooper and Mr. Mook, who's chasing after him. David May across the line, losing 2 places in 8th that particular time. So he needs to get back on his horse as Woolley makes his way down to the old hairpin. Here's the battle, though, that battle for 2nd place. That's a beauty. It's now Whitby, that's Haig and Ball. And Haig over the inside of the Melbourne loop there, and he's going to nail that one beautifully. Looks like it's going to be Whitby trying to get the cut back, but no, the drive goes to Haig, and in fact his Ball is now going to have a go at Whitby as well, so he's going to go from 2nd to 4th in a couple of corners, and behind him those guys, I should say, McRae and Cooper are starting to mix it up as well. So
Alan Cooper's just gone down, I think. It's Goddard.
Okay, mate.
It looked like it was Alan Cooper that had gone down. He was mixing it with Max McRae.
Trying to muscle Big Max there. Over the line they come. And indeed, we are losing. We're losing both of them, actually, mate. Neither of them have come out.
No, here's Max now. Max has just crossed the line.
Okay, there we go, Max. Yep. And you got yellow at Gollards. Yeah, that'll be there. And Andy Mook has retired, apparently. Thank you very much indeed. Cooper there.
Yeah, I just saw them running up the hill there towards Goddard's, and Alan Cooper's just going up on the inside, and it looks like the front just folded.
Right.
And it was just, I think it must have just caught the back end of Max's bike.
Yep.
But obviously he's been able to stay on and come round, but he's obviously lost a few places now.
It's not good news at all for Cooper, and of course his championship hopes, because Alan Cooper is one of those guys who is well, he's 2nd in the championship coming into this particular round by 17 points from David Ball. But David having a nice consistent weekend, and that's exactly what you need, isn't it? Just keep putting those points in. He finished behind Cooper yesterday in the first race. It was Cooper in 2nd and Ball in 3rd, so that's 4-point advantage there to Cooper, so he closes it down a little bit there. But in the 2nd race, of course, Alan was at retirement, so it's all good news for David Ball, as you say. You keep chipping away at it, and 4th place now. That's that's another 13 points in your account, isn't it? And that all goes a long way to securing the end of season top spot, which is what you want, as Mr. Woolley comes across the line with a 45.960. Not quite as quick as yesterday, but still easily the fastest lap of the race as that battle for 2nd comes across the line. 3 laps left in this. Haig and Whitby now separated by 1/10 of a second. Ball about 8/10 of a second back now. You know David better than I do. Is he just going to sit there and watch those 2 guys argue over it? Because or is he going to go, you know what, I want to push on that bit harder and get in the mix there?
Yeah, I think Sten's speaking to him this morning. I think he's going to be playing a long game here.
Yeah.
And he will have seen now that Alan's gone out.
Yes.
And I think that will play on his mind. And he knows that these 2 are really wanting it. This podium position, and the points will be more important to David at the moment. I would say. I
totally agree. If you've seen your rival go at you, you're going to be thinking, I tell you what, that's whatever points I get here, it's all going to open up the gap by that much to my rival, and that's what you want at the end of the day. That wind is actually very strong, though. Look at those flags, Pete. They are definitely straightening out very nicely, and those trees are getting a good hammering in the middle of the circuit there too, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I was just saying, going over the line just recently was David May and Andy Burscough, and David is probably getting his first Andy Burscough experience on track. The power of the power valve down, it starts up straight into Redgate. But no doubt David May will be overtaking him through the crane of curves.
Yes.
It's just so much more difficult to handle that 350 in that section, even with the TZR running gear that he's got. But I'm sure he'll be having a nice experience with Andy.
Well, obviously you've had the experience
back
in the day when we used to share the track with the 400s, and it was very frustrating as the 400s would come past in a straight line. We'd then just beat them up in the corners, much to our own amusement.
Yeah.
I know that used to annoy the 400s an awful lot. It was fun. Okay, Whitby now over the line with 2 laps to go, and he is 0.586 ahead with Ball 0.452. So Ball a little bit quicker on that one. You know what? I think he might be thinking, I tell you what, there's a bronze medal there, but we are talking fractions of a second. So Ball, Mook, May, Burscough. Yeah, I see what you mean about that battle. Separated by 0.4 of a second. Ridley goes past on Bushell. That's for important points in the Clubman Championship as well. Leading Clubman, of course, is Mark Hay. So Mark, very happy man there at the podium last night as he picked up a couple of gold medals for his trouble. Always nice, makes for a much better drive home when you get some medals on the dashboard, doesn't it, Pete?
Exactly, yeah.
You know well.
Yeah, and the other thing David Ball was saying that he actually likes the longer races. He feels that he gets stronger as the race goes on.
Right, okay.
He generally sets his faster times towards the end.
Have there ever been any discussions amongst the YPMs of doing what the 600s do, where you have the one double race on a Saturday and two normal ones on a Sunday, or even maybe what the power bikes are doing, just having three longer races over the weekend? Yeah,
I've not seen too much discussion on it at the moment. Whether Paul Whitby, the club rep, has gone and had a chat to a few of the riders, and they just decided to hold current format for now. But yeah, it doesn't. The long races doesn't suit everybody, right? So
no,
it's
absolutely.
Just finding that balance.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because the short sprint races, as you say, it works for most people, but you know, the 600s, and to be fair to the 600s, it's worked out nicely. They've had some great races. Oh, Ball is getting close to Whitby. He's going to go for the suicide squeeze into the last corner at Goddard's. I don't think so. I think he's going to settle for what it is. So Kev Woolley then with a 45.9, so it doesn't quite go quicker. Mark Haig, though, that's a credible overall second place there to Mark Haig as well. Paul Whitby does indeed hang on for third, which will be second in his chunk of the championship, so you get to stand in the silver medal position if that stays the way it is. So just watching them come across the line. Do you think Ball's going to go for it, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. The thing is, Mark Hay had a really good lap there, because if you remember, Paul Whitby was a good few bike lengths ahead going into turn one, and Mark Hay's come through and had kind of gained the same gap over Paul Whitby. So unless Paul had a slight incident and got caught by Mark on the brake somewhere, I don't know. But will David go for it? I'm not 100% sure at this point.
We'll have to wait and see. Bursko and May swapping places again on that, less separated by 1/1000th of a second, so that's as side by side as you get, and they've come across the line very, very close indeed. You cannot get any closer than that, quite literally. So we've seen another 1,001 shot come good as we wait for the leader to make his way back into the Fogarty chicane. He's into the back markers as well, so that is how fast he is going.
Yeah, and that will happen obviously with the longer races. There's a little bit more time.
That is a factor with the longer races to be taken into consideration, isn't it? The back marker factor, of course. Hopefully the last two back markers just making their way to Goddard's. They're not going to get caught, so that's good. Here comes Kev Woolley then, ready to claim his third victory of the weekend. He is a class act. This is his first appearance this year. He's hoping to get out for Alton, but unfortunately some family issues meant that he couldn't make it. And he is come out this weekend. Is he going to come out for much more this year, do you think?
I think he might do the revival.
Cool.
He might do the revival, yeah. I know that. Oh, he's missed his. Mark Hay looked like he's missed the gear again coming out of Goddard's. He did that yesterday. I've actually given him a new side plate on for the gear changer, because that was bent yesterday. It looks like he's done the same thing today, and I can't think who quite made that yet. Whitby made the second place.
He did indeed. Well done, Paul Whitby. He'll be delighted with that. As you say, Andy Ball does indeed roll out of it, actually. He finishes 1.7 back. And it's Jeff Moog, Andy Bursko, David May in 7th place on the 777, so we've got 7, 7, and 7, 7. Andy Bushell, Tom Ridley, Den Halil in the top 10 there. Max McRae, Trouble Grace and Max, he finishes in 11th place, but he does pick up 8 class points there as well. Damien Lee, Dan Goff and Derek Cripps should be Paul Neal rounding out the top 15 riders.